Welcome to the Real Estate 401k Show. Here are your hosts, Ryan Gerdes, Mike Weinstein, and Justin Frederick, helping you build a legacy of wealth through real estate. Powered by the Recon Group at West USA and the Frederick team with Fairway Mortgage. NMLS number 625918.
You know, one of the things that has always boggled my mind in real estate, because if you go to a doctor, if you're going to get some sort of procedure done, you're gonna do your homework on the doctor. You want to know how many operations that doctor has done, right? And how many operations that doctor has performed. And we do all types of research. But I find it amazing in real estate, when you're a buyer or you're a seller, it's a huge, huge financial decision. And it's always boggled my mind that I've never, in 20 years of doing this, I've never had a customer ask me how long I've been in real estate, how many homes I've sold, or whatever the case is. They just don't. People don't just, they assume you got a real estate license, so you must know what you're doing.
Yeah, and on that metaphor, like, you're not just going to walk into surgery and hope that it goes okay, right? You're going to have like 4 or 5 consults. If you don't like what you hear, you might go get a second or third opinion, and you're going to talk to, you're going to get other referrals. So that's always boggled me, like, why people are just like, well, oh no, my sister got her real estate license, so I'm gonna go hire her.
Yeah. And my dog can get a real estate license, right?
Yeah, like, what is it, 90 hours, and you have to pass a test, and then pay a few bucks, and then lo and behold, you're now a real estate professional. Try again. Everyone that talks to me and says, hey, I want to get into this industry, okay, well, first you got to go through real estate school, right? And then, all right, well, what are some pointers? And the entire time I'm like, just don't listen to them. All you're there to do is cram for a test. You're not going to learn a damn thing in that real estate school about how to actually run a real estate business, how to sell real estate, how to navigate a contract, how to negotiate, how to do all these different things that are pretty pivotal, because we're spending hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, in order to be successful.
Yeah, I remember, Justin, when I got my real estate license, to Ryan's point, I did the 90 hours of class. Mm-hmm. Then you got to take a 6-hour writing contract class. Then you got to pass the school test. You got to pass the state and national test. Then you got to go down and pay all this money so that you can actually do real estate. And I remember day one sitting in the bullpen at New Home Information Centers on 107th and Indian School. And I thought to myself, I hope to God nobody walks in here right now and asks me to help them buy or sell a home, because I got no idea.
Please don't ask me any questions.
I got no idea what I'm doing.
Don't make eye contact.
Well, I don't think that a consumer actually thinks about what all goes into a transaction of real estate, or even the negotiation portions of the transaction, and what it takes to do that, and what experience would help you with that. I think they're just thinking, well, this person's going to take me out and show me some homes, or all they're going to do is put that sign in my front yard and people are going to come. If you build it, they'll come. It's I don't think they realize what exactly goes into it and what strategies go into it. And
anyone can learn how to do contracts, and anyone can learn timelines and follow the systems. Where what you have to learn, what you have to ensure when you hire somebody to help that you sell them, or have them help you sell your house or help you buy a house, how good are they when it comes down to negotiations? So according to this, they call it a working paper. Or a study. I like to call it a study by the National.
Are you going to read from it again, dude?
I got no choice.
I've been waiting for this. He told us we were going to do this, and I'm like, he's going to have to read it.
You got the popcorn?
It's going to be a long time, folks.
I just got to say, man, I think he looks good without the hair gel, don't you?
He looks younger.
Yeah.
I'm 52 years
old.
You look like a every morning I walk out of the house, same ritual. I do my hair, and this morning I forgot to do it.
All right, so...
Anyways, not like it really helps anyways. But anyways, according to this working paper from the National Bureau of Economic Research, they studied 8.5 million real estate transactions between 2001 and 2014. The study found homes listed by an inexperienced real estate agent is less likely to sell. And then now with a lot of these flat fee commissions and things like that, but according to this, the current flat commission structure created a large number of inexperienced agents that drag down home sellers and stunt the housing market in good times and bad times. Mm-hmm. Experience is key.
And I don't want to belittle or discourage anyone wanting to get into the real estate industry. If you're good, you're good. Winners win, losers lose, right? So if you're a winner and you approach this like a business and you really have your heart and soul into it, and you're ethical and you have all these things, you definitely get into the business, right? I love having good agents in this industry. And just because you don't have experience doesn't mean that you can't jump onto a team, get a mentor, get a coach or something that's going to make sure that you have the support, give you the guidance in order to develop that experience. Because, you really need it. I mean, going back to your, New Home Information Center, that's how we met, was over at New Home Information Center.
2003, man.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, pal.
And it was
it's like dog years working with you, but I feel like we've been doing this for about 70 years now.
I know, right? And I remember just like walking in like, don't ask me any questions. You were there for like 3 months before I was.
Something like that.
And you were already killing it. And I was like, dude, this guy Mike Weinstein, he's been doing it a long time. And I went and talked to you. You're like, I've been here for like 3 months. And
He's just a really good bullshitter.
Yeah, I'm like, but we did have good support there, and I do think Mark Arns was a true innovator and pioneer of the industry, and I learned a ton from him. Todd Menard, there's a lot of really good influences around that I hung my hat on for their experience and their support like all the time, and that's what got me through it.
Well, little known fact about me, I spent my first 11 years in Arizona. Of all things, I was a youth pastor, right? So I was doing nothing but selling what you can't touch, feel, and hear. And then I got my real estate license, and I'm like, man, you can touch a house, you can feel a house, you can smell a house, and I didn't look back.
We're walking apart.
So, Justin, you're on the lending side of things, and so you see it all the time because you're in conversations with agents on the buy side and the sell side. What's that like, and what goes through your emotions when you're now working with an agent that does not have the experience?
Well. And luckily, we get to work with all sorts of agents, very experienced. Todd Menard, we get to work with Todd Menard, and we also get to work with brand new agents. And I got to say, using your resources, just like you guys were talking about, is such a tremendous help for a lot of individuals. But we always make phone calls to the agents, whether we're pre-qualifying a borrower that they've sent over or talking to a listing agent. And typically you can immediately tell if they've been doing this for a while or not. And a lot of times we have to do a lot of coaching from our end on what needs to be done. For example, we just had a transaction this week. They put on the Benzer or not on the Benzer, that's what we recommended. They put on the contract that the escrow was going to hold back $19,000 to replace the roof. And we had a PIW, or property inspection waiver, no appraisal required. And so I call the agent and I say, hey, we need to remove this from the addendum to the contract. We can't have this in there. The underwriter is going to require an appraisal, a roof cert. They're going to require the roof to be fixed if it can't pass the roof cert prior to closing. We can't do this as an escrow holdback.
I like it when people call it a roof.
Yeah, a roof.
A roof.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry.
So I'm like, you need to do an addendum to the Benzer so I don't see this, and it'll still be contract.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They didn't get it. And I had to go to another individual that worked with the broker and try to explain it. And, sometimes we run into brokers that aren't experienced as well. And so this was a pain, but we'll get it fixed up. But experience is a big deal. And not even with this, what I find more with the experience is the negotiation side, the contract purchase price or the sale price of properties and what you guys are obtaining for your buyers or what you're getting for your sellers. It makes a dramatic difference if you've had the experience and had to negotiate in the past and not even the experience. You guys are just really good negotiators to begin with.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
you see the differences between these agents, definitely, that have had the experience. And that's just my 2 cents with it. But
all right, if you're looking at buying or selling and you're wanting to learn more about our experience, or you want to have a conversation with an incredibly experienced group of agents, but more importantly, real estate wealth managers, I know it's a big word, but go ahead and text the word experience to 623-AZ-RECON. Again, text the word experience to 623-AZ-RECON. All right, I'm working with a buyer right now, and this just really comes down to I have the experience and they don't have the experience, Ryan. Home inspection comes back and requiring our AC inspector, Ariel, to go out there and take a look at it. The AC or the HVAC inspection comes back. The air conditioner is fully functional. It's working, okay? It meets the splits. Everything's fine about it, but Ariel puts on there that it's definitely at the end of its life cycle, and the buyer should start thinking about budgeting for a new AC unit. Okay, I've never really accomplished this amount for a fully functional AC. If I'm the seller and I'm representing the seller, and somebody asks me for money to pay for a AC unit, I'd say no. Inspection came back, it's operational. We were able to get our buyer $3,500 from the seller that'll go towards a brand new AC unit when the current AC unit is working functionally. How critical, what do you think about for us, for you, when you hear the word experience, and what do we bring to the table?
So, like, if we're talking about inspection stuff, is that what you're
Anything.
asking? Okay. Well, I think it all boils down to the human element that's out there, and really understanding how people behave on the other side of the table. It's fascinating. I'll meet some of the most level-headed people, and then the moment that you put a dollar in the center of the table, they completely turn into a totally different person, right? And then I've seen some people that are, super anal about everything, and then we go through a transaction and they're just, a cool customer. So for me, it just, I gotta really figure out all the players at the table, and we do everything that we can to front load as much work into it as possible. So for instance, if I'm walking into an inspection, hey, look, take a look at the disclosures, but that's not gospel. Chances are the person who filled that thing out doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. Right. So let's lean on the professional here so that I don't have to backtrack and have a massive conversation that could be a deal breaker because somebody checked the wrong box on a disclosure statement, right? So once we do that, then I can say, hey, look, let's justify what's going on here. Yeah, I understand that an air conditioning unit is working, fine right now, but these things usually have a 12 to 15 year life if they're properly maintained, and we have 1 or 2 years left on it. Let's do a little bit of movement on here. Let's do some math on it, right? I understand we're not buying a brand new home, but we do want to make sure that this home is going to serve you functionally, at least for the near future. So we weave in a lot of home warranties for those things, which I know you did as well.
Yep.
And then getting some cash on top. That is that's usually not very common if it's already working.
And
so
my point is, a
kudos.
newer agent may not have even thought about that or had the cojones to even go after
Probably
it.
not.
You just aim high. We started on the onset of this episode talking about how important it is for a buyer or seller for you to do your homework, find out how long your agent's been in the business, what's their experience level like, what's their expertise level like. One of the things that we do, we drink our own Kool-Aid. One of the things that we do for you when we represent you, we do our homework on the agent that we're going up against. I want to know that agent that I'm about to compete with, that I'm going to go negotiate with, when did they get their license? How many transactions have they done? How experienced are they? Because that is going to completely determine the path in which I'm going to negotiate this transaction for you.
Yeah, and also, what was their list price versus what was the actual sale price? I'd like to switch. I want to stay on the topic, but I do want to switch gears. There's a story about a client of ours, and they went into a new home build, and we helped them get a new home. And if you're not familiar with the new home build process, they have incentives out there, but you have to use their lender, you have to use their title company, you have to use their everything. Okay, we'll play ball. So we had already gotten them approved over there with the Frederick team over at Fairway, and everything was good to go. But then they said, "Hey, look, we're gonna give you 6% towards
Crazy.
incentives if you use the builder's lender." So of course we had to say, "Hey,
I'm
man,
out.
yeah,
I'm just saying it.
Bye-bye.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, dude,
go."
And then this very inexperienced lender didn't know how to stack a file, didn't know how to calculate income, didn't know how to draw out assets, didn't know how to negotiate with the underwriter in order to get them to the finish line. And I'm talking, we're months into this thing, and so I was able to get on the phone with the builder and say, "Hey, look, I've given your lender every possible out here. I've done everything that I could to give them an opportunity to perform on this thing, and we're looking closing date in the face of about 40 days out. And why is it that my lender can get him fully underwritten and approved in 48 hours, and your lender can't do it in over 48 days?" So I was able to negotiate to get them to keep the incentive and move them over to the Fredericks team. And I mean, you guys will probably be clear to close next week if you wanted to.
And it's a complicated file. I'm
Sure.
not gonna, but yeah, I mean that's why we took it to approval to begin with. But I'm gonna just speak. You're talking about that being experience on our side, but experience on your side. Not too many agents can get a new build lender to continue giving those incentives even after it's been denied over there and moving over to us. That's huge. And the 6% is our client is going to be just dramatically happy with because we're going to do a 3-2-1 buy down out of this. So his rate's going to be essentially 3% lower for the first year, 2% lower for the second year, 1%. Plus, we're going to also be able to take care of a majority of those closing costs along with those this is wild. I'm super excited for him. You did a great job.
Well, thank you. And the builder would have done better if they would have offered those options as a 3-2-1 rather than just a full 30-year buy down. And so they lost business due to their inexperience. And then they made a couple of crucial mistakes that I've picked up on that I was able to leverage our side of the table on. So it's working out well for them. But at the end of the day, everyone's going to win because the builder's going to sell a home and our buyer's going to buy it, and both of them are going to be super happy. So.
All right, experience is key. Whether you're buying or selling a home, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, perhaps millions of dollars. You really got to know, that old saying, that old commercial, what's in your wallet? You got to know what agent you got in your pocket. What kind of experience do they have? Do they know how to negotiate? Well, our team of real estate wealth managers at the Recon Group, we know how to do that. And if you're looking at buying or selling any type of real estate transaction and you would love to lean on our expertise, feel free to text the word experience to 623-AZ-RECON. That's experience to 623-AZ-RECON.
Thank you for joining us on the Real Estate 401k Show. If you want more information on how to build wealth, click on the link or text us at 623-297-3266. That's 623-AZ-RECON.